Cougar Nation, sponsored by Central Bank. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you. We'll be talking BYU and Utah on game day beginning at noon with Cougar Sports Saturday. We hold it down every Saturday from noon to 3 here on the legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio from noon to 3. And if you miss any part of this show, subscribe to the podcast. Just search Cougar Nation wherever you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe to Cougar Sports Saturday. We do a lot of different shows here on KSL News Radio, Matt, and these are the weeks that are the best because BYU and Utah, you do forget how fun these rivalry weeks can be, and the memories start flooding back, and it becomes a little more fun too when, well, you're an 8-0 football team, right?
I do kind of wish that Utah had held up their end of the bargain a little better, being at 8-15. Not ideal. There was a real opportunity to have a bigger spotlight on this game, but Utah, honestly, I feel like even if they had won that Houston game, their record would be better. Maybe there would have been more TV interest in having that in a better slot. So that's a little disappointing that, we kind of thought that the Big 12's decision to move this game out of that final week was an opportunity to amplify the rivalry, and instead, it's getting that late treatment. Coach Prime has been so adamant about how he hates the 8 p.m. window because the East Coast, they're snoozing through some of that game. So, if BYU were to have a big win, how amplified would that be being in that 8:50 time slot? But still, having it back on the schedule is great, especially with true meaning. Because from Utah's perspective, they can make things really hard for BYU. Now, the good news is, and I don't want to prognosticate anything here, but if you lose this game, BYU fans, you're still in the driver's seat for that Big 12 championship game. You're in a great spot thanks to losses by Iowa State and Kansas State. So losing this game is not detrimental to the long-term goals of winning a conference championship. It would make it a little more difficult because then you'd have to be perfect after that point to control your own destiny. But for Utah, there's an opportunity to make things more difficult for BYU in what's been a special season so far.
801-575-8255. This is the final chance, Cougar fans or Ute fans, if you want to get on board. 801-575-8255. This is your final chance to weigh in on the BYU-Utah rivalry here on Cougar Nation. So we've had some great text and some interaction on X. And you can follow us on X at Baiamonte Matt, at Mitch_Harper, and at KSL Sports. The feeling around Cougar Nation right now, Matt, just feels that of confidence. One person replied to me on X and posted the Vince McMahon WWE just storming out, strutting out on the stage. One individual writes, real sports fan, infinitely more confident than when the season began, still realizing that anything can happen any Saturday. Thankfully, Saturday appears to have good weather in the forecast. It'll be cold, but BYU, I feel confident.
Yeah, I feel confident too. What really brings me, honestly, the most confidence, Mitch, is, and this might be kind of shocking for some BYU fans to hear, but it's BYU's quarterback play, Jake Retzlaff. He's fourth in the conference in passing efficiency. He's thrown for over 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns. He's not like leading the conference in yardage or touchdowns thrown, but he's gotten significantly better from last season. His completion percentage is up 10 percentage points, and more importantly, Mitch, the past month or so of football, I think you've seen real growth. His crazy mistakes that we saw in the first half of the season, they're few and far between in the last 4 BYU wins. You'd be hard-pressed to find 3 really atrocious decisions from Jake Retzlaff in the past couple wins. I think he's been really good at picking his spots. And then the other thing I love about Jake, and this is where I think he's going to thrive in a rivalry setting, this dude has been such an underdog his whole career. Gets no recruitment because of the pandemic. At one point, he thought, finally, I broke through with a scholarship at UTEP, and then that fell through. Back to the grind. Gets his opportunity at BYU, fights through all that adversity last year, was, by some analytical outlets, was deemed the worst quarterback in the conference. He's far from the worst quarterback in the conference, and now he's got this confidence and swag and just great leadership tendency. I love having your quarterback with that kind of moxie and that kind of attitude going into a game like this. He's not going to be scared of the fans at Rice Eccles Stadium. He's not going to be scared of the moment. He's got all the reasons to be confident in this football team, and I like having that kind of leader at the helm for BYU.
Jake said that he's got to approach this game like any other week.
You always hear it around town, man. I mean, it's like they care about this game more than any other game on the season. But like I said, like you got to be able to approach it like another game week. You know what I mean? We talk about every week is a statement week. Kalani says that all the time. And so this is statement number 9 we got to make. And then, we talk about the way we prepare is every week is a Super Bowl for us. And so this is Super Bowl 9 for us. And so, yeah, the rivalry makes it a little bigger deal. But in our minds, we got to just keep our preparation the same because it's been working all year.
Jake Retzlaff has been impressive to the point where even Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham, who's not saying the letters BYU, but he does acknowledge Jake Retzlaff is doing some good things for BYU's offense.
I'd say the QB is the catalyst. You look at individual rushers, individual receivers. There's nobody that just jumps out statistically. It's a collaborative effort, but the quarterback is the catalyst, in my opinion, and playing good football. He's amongst the league leaders in pass efficiency. He's made some just a bunch of really timely runs during the course of the season, runs that have made big difference maker type of runs. And so I would say that is without a doubt the guy that makes it all go. But again, he's got a good supporting cast, but again, nobody is just jumping out on the stat line. I don't know if they have a top 10 receiver or a top 10 running back, but you don't need to. You don't have to do that to be successful.
Well said from Coach Whittingham, and he's gotten a lot of grief in this rivalry for not being complimentary towards BYU throughout his long tenure as the coach, but I think he's dead on the money there. When you have really good quarterback play, Mitch, you can win a lot of football games. You can have a great defense. You can have great special teams. You can have first-round NFL draft pick talent on your roster. But if you don't have a really good quarterback, it's hard to win in football. Having good quarterback play is essential, and BYU has that right now with Jake Retzlaff, and that does give me a lot of confidence.
Utah, on the other hand, they have the nation's 104th scoring offense in the country, and they've got some questions at the quarterback spot. Will it be Isaac Wilson or will it be Brandon Rose? Brandon Rose stepped in for Isaac Wilson in their game 2 weeks ago against Utah. Either way, Kalani Sitake is going to prepare for both quarterbacks.
We've got to prepare for anything that they can throw at us. I mean, they've had an extra week, so there's a lot of different things that we have to probably over-prepare for, but that's okay. We have to take a look at all the quarterbacks that are on the roster and be ready for them, and I think Jay's got a good start on that.
Excited stuff. I'm excited for this game, Matt. 8:15, late night. I just, again, to kind of close this thing out, when we talk about the question of the day, how confident are you? I just feel really good about this BYU football team. There's no weakness right now to this group. They might not have elite star power, but, man, the whole sum of their parts is just operating at a high level right now.
Can I also add, too, I love going into this game feeling sure and confident with the special teams. I felt like if it came down to a Will Ferrell kick, that he would be more than likely to make that kick. I like where the punting game is. That has been solid. Not the length and the hang time of Ryan Rico, but no mistakes in the punting game. The coverage has been good. There's been no disastrous turnovers. That's happened in other rivalry games where there's just a disastrous special teams play that comes back to haunt you. I feel really great about the special teams going into the rivalry week.
Real quick, Matt, what's your favorite BYU-Utah memory?
Wow. I mean, it's back to Harleen. That was sensational. I felt like BYU was the better team in that game, and then to come from behind in Beck's senior season, I love that moment.
Yeah, that one was sweet. I also love Georgia still running in 2009. That was a lot of fun. 1996, though, last time BYU won by double digits. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if BYU replicated that, right? 37-17.
No doubt.
Let's see it happen, right? A JUCO California quarterback, number 12. Maybe he does it again up at Rice Eccles. Hey, have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you on Saturday on Game Day, BYU and Utah.